You'd see him most mornings, a solitary figure moving through the bustling streets of New York, unnoticed by the hurried crowds. His name was Anthony Price, but to the few who even noticed him, he was just that old guy with the worn-out jacket. He blended into the backdrop of the city, another face in the endless sea of humanity, seemingly ordinary, unremarkable. He frequented the same small diner, always ordering just a black coffee and a plain bagel. He'd spend hours in the public library, not in the finance section, but among the dusty history books or classic novels. His apartment in a modest, older part of town was small, sparsely furnished, and gave no hint of anything extraordinary. He walked with a quiet gait, spoke little, and never drew attention to himself. He was, by all accounts, a man of simple means, living a simple life. But outside of his quiet world, a different story was unfolding across the nation. Whispers began in small towns, then news reports surfaced. Schools in underprivileged areas were suddenly getting brand new libraries. Struggling community centers were receiving massive anonymous grants. Groundbreaking medical research on the verge of collapse was miraculously funded. People called the unknown benefactor the phantom philanthropist, the benevolent ghost, or simply anonymous. The mystery captivated the nation. Who was this incredible individual giving away fortunes without a trace? The impact was undeniable, reaching far and wide. In a desolate Appalachian town, a dilapidated community hospital received a multi-million-dollar injection, upgrading its equipment and saving countless lives. In a bustling inner-city neighborhood, a youth center, once a haven for crime, transformed into a vibrant hub for arts and education, thanks to an unforeseen endowment. Across university campuses, brilliant but impoverished students found their tuition debts vanished, allowing them to pursue dreams once deemed impossible. Every news anchor, every charity organization, every mayor tried to uncover the identity of this elusive donor. There were theories: a tech mogul from Silicon Valley, a recluse oil baron, perhaps an eccentric artist who'd struck gold. Yet every lead went cold. The donations arrived through layers of shell corporations and trust funds meticulously crafted to obscure the source. The only consistent message accompanying these incredible sums was a simple, handwritten note: for the betterment of all. While the world speculated, Anthony Price continued his unassuming existence. Yet his story did not begin with humility, but with a spark of genius that very few recognized in its infancy. Decades ago, in the nascent days of personal computing, a young Anthony, barely out of college, had stumbled upon a revolutionary way to compress and transmit data, a concept so far ahead of its time it was almost dismissed as fantasy. He worked tirelessly, fueled by an almost obsessive drive, not for fame or fortune, but for the sheer intellectual challenge. He saw the potential for this technology to connect people, to educate, to democratize information. He founded a small, obscure tech company, toiling in anonymity, refining his invention. When the internet boom finally arrived, his technology became the backbone of countless applications, a silent, invisible giant. He quietly sold his patents and his company to a major corporation for an astronomical sum, walking away from the spotlight he never craved. But why did a man who commanded such wealth choose to live so modestly? The answer lay not in greed, but in a profound disillusionment with the very system that had made him rich. As a young man, he had witnessed firsthand how wealth could corrupt, how it could build walls instead of bridges. He saw opulence creating isolation, and public charity often becoming a platform for ego rather than genuine help. He believed that true giving was selfless, pure, and utterly anonymous. "The greatest good is done when no one knows your name," he once wrote in a private journal, later found by his lawyer. He was convinced that drawing attention to himself would only detract from the causes he sought to support. His fortune was not for his comfort, but a tool, a resource to be quietly deployed where it could do the most good, without the fanfare, without the expectation of gratitude or recognition. His life was a testament to his belief that impact, not acclaim, was the ultimate measure of success. One crisp autumn morning, Anthony Price failed to appear for his usual coffee. His landlord, concerned, found him peacefully passed away in his small apartment, surrounded by books and the quiet hum of an old radio. There were no public obituaries, no grand funerals. He was buried in a modest plot, just another name on a stone. It was only then, after his quiet passing, that the final chapter of his extraordinary life began to unfold. His elderly attorney, a man named Mr. Henderson, who had guarded Anthony's secret for decades, was tasked with executing the final wishes of his client's will. In a private meeting with foundation heads and a handful of trusted individuals, Henderson unveiled the truth. He presented documents, ledgers, and a single grainy photograph of a younger Anthony, the genius behind the colossal anonymous donations. The revelation sent shockwaves through the philanthropic world. The phantom benefactor, the generous ghost, was this unassuming old man, Anthony Price. Henderson even played a short, pre-recorded audio message from Anthony himself, his voice frail but clear. "I never sought recognition. The joy was in the doing, in seeing the seeds of kindness blossom, unseen. May the work continue." The news rippled through the media, causing a sensation. The man who had anonymously funded countless projects, impacting millions of lives, was the quiet old man no one had ever noticed. The neighborhoods he had uplifted, the research he had saved, the students he had empowered, they were all living monuments to his incredible, selfless legacy. Anthony Price's story became a beacon, a quiet reminder in a world obsessed with fame and fortune. It taught that true wealth isn't measured in possessions, but in the lives touched, the good done without expectation. He redefined what it meant to be a philanthropist, proving that the greatest impact often comes from the most unassuming sources, from those who choose to remain silent guardians of humanity's progress. His story is a testament to the power of a single individual to change the world, not with a roar, but with a whisper of generosity. It challenges us to look beyond the surface, to recognize that the greatest treasures often lie hidden, camouflaged by humility. If Anthony Price's incredible journey inspired you, please consider sharing this story, liking the video, and subscribing to our channel for more tales of hidden heroes and transformative journeys. Thank you for watching.